last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done. We ended the war in Gaza and really, on a much bigger basis, created peace. And I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace. Peace in the Middle East.
It looks like we have a deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet approved the first phase of a peace plan put forward by President Trump and his administration. That phase will secure the release of the remaining Israeli hostages, 20 of whom are still believed to be alive.
In exchange, Israel will implement a ceasefire and agree to a partial withdrawal of IDF forces. Now, this deal is a long time coming, and according to Marco Rubio, one that would not have happened without Trump.
The president had some extraordinary phone calls and meetings that required a high degree of intensity and commitment and made this happen. Not only is there no other leader in the world that could have put this together, Mr. President, but frankly, I don't know of any American president in the modern era that could have made this possible because of the actions you have taken unrelated to this and because of who you are and what you've done and how you're viewed. And this weekend, because of that, at some point very soon, we are going to see 20 living human beings emerge from the darkness into the light for the first time in 2 years.
Trump plans on visiting the Middle East over the weekend in an effort to close the deal. The president says the hostages are expected to be set free shortly after, on Monday or Tuesday of next week. Back here at home, even some Democrats are giving Trump deserved credit for spearheading this deal. Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman even taking it a step further on Fox on Thursday.
I mean, if this sticks, I think the whole point of having a Nobel Peace Prize is for ending wars and promoting peace. And I'm going to make a direct appeal to the president. You know, I hope he chooses to provide the tomahawks to the Ukrainians too, and give them the tools that they need to push back against Russia. And if he brings the Ukrainian war to its end, I'll be the Democrat leading the committee for his Nobel Prize Peace, for ending both of these terrible wars.
But some are only cautiously optimistic. Israel and Hamas have only agreed to the first phase of the plan, not the entire thing. And UN Special Reporter and human rights expert Francesca Albanese says she just doesn't trust Israel to keep its end of the bargain, even accusing the country of breaking the ceasefire shortly after agreeing to it. She posted on X, quote, "Ceasefire. In Israel's dictionary, you cease, I fire." Just hours after the deal, as in January, Israel shoots at Palestinians waiting to return home. Before any next step, member states must ensure that Israel honors the ceasefire. Now, CNN reports that there was indeed a live video feed showing Israeli tanks firing along al-Rashid Street to stop people from moving north. It's important to note Israel officials did not give a specific time the ceasefire would begin, only that it would start within 24 hours of approving the deal.
Meantime, U.S. officials have confirmed 200 troops will be deployed to Israel to establish a task force to support stabilization efforts in Gaza. Those troops will reportedly not be deployed into Gaza directly. So, yes, still much to work out. That is the case, but it's incredible to even get to this point. It's wonderful that we have. I usually start to roll my eyes and get a little annoyed at, like, okay, everybody praising Trump so much. It's a little butt-kissing, like it can get
Marco Rubio soundbite.
But this time, it's deserved this time. Trump got this done. Biden couldn't get this done. I don't believe Kamala Harris would have been able to get it done. I mean, we saw that. In fact, there's been reporting from left-leaning outlets that, versions of this deal were available to the Biden administration, and it was not the Hamas side that wasn't going to accept it. It was the Israel side. The Democrats, when they were in charge, were not willing or able to put enough pressure on the Israeli government to get them to sign off on it, and Trump was. Maybe that's because circumstances on the ground changed. Maybe that's because more time passed. Maybe it's because the pressure has increased domestically in the U.S. The support for Israel has eroded as these atrocities we've witnessed. So you could say it's all of that, but I think part of it is Trump's sheer force of will, and I'm really happy that he accomplished this, and I hope it's the beginning of a more lasting peace, and including self-governance for the Palestinians that is not under the direction of a terrorist group, and peace and prosperity for Jewish people, Muslim people, and everyone else in the region, which is what Trump wants, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, I certainly give him credit. I don't know if I will go as far as Marco Rubio because he was being a little dramatic, but it certainly deserves a level of credit. Now, I think that what has really been important to see for me, I saw a side-by-side video on News Nation this morning that had Palestinians celebrating in Gaza and also people in Israel celebrating. Really happy because, you know, there are 20 people that are going to come home.
Both sides seem genuinely happy.
To see that, that's the first time we've seen that in 2 years.
Right.
You know, a genuine happiness. People are mourning, missing family members. Some people are going to have the worst day of their lives when they return bodies home. We have to remember that when that happens in Israel. And then also Palestinian people, I was reading in the New York Times saying, you know, we're celebrating and we're happy. This is believed to be true and followed through with, but we also don't understand anything. We still don't understand anything, meaning what's next? Where do we go from here? We can't go back to devastated homes. We're talking about like people who were average middle class people that had a place to live, living in tents, going back to their city, trying to figure out what's next for them, completely rebuilding their lives.
Yeah,
in
Gaza
Gaza is a complete, it's just all rubble. So I think I really would like to, now that we're here, and like I said, I'll give President Trump credit for this, see what the next steps look like, and who will be monitoring that, you know, from a high level to make sure that not only Benjamin Netanyahu, but everybody involved follows through with what the agreed plan is, and nobody goes rogue, because it's so sensitive in that part of the world, in that region, and the tension is so high that there's certainly not a chance to sway in any way, but we'll see how it goes.
Next up, the backlash continues over the NFL's decision to have Bad Bunny perform at the Super Bowl. Coming up, a look at the alternative halftime show being planned by Turning Point USA. We'll be back right after this.